I'm Josh Ellsworth with Stahls CAD Cut Direct. We're a manufacturer of heat transfer films for heat printing textiles, as well as heat transfer foils and transfer papers, which we'll cover today. In today's session, I'll be joined by Martin Borley, and Martin can tell you a little bit about himself.
There's nothing wrong with the equipment. I'm actually from England. Just wanted to share that with you, just in case you think something's up. I'm Vice President of Target Transfers in the UK, and we manufacture transfers. We ship and distribute CAD Cut Material as well. So from a transfer point of view, hopefully I'll give you a bit of an overview of what's possible with transfers, and hopefully with Josh's assistance, he's going to carry and cover all the CAD Cut opportunities and papers.
Great. And so today we're going to teach you 5 ways to print with foil. And so it's kind of a bonus session. It's 5 by 5. So we're going to teach you 5 different printing ways to get foil onto a garment with different types of equipment and printing capabilities. And then in addition to that, we're also going to give you an additional 5 techniques to create different looks and styles with foil. And so we'll kind of just bounce back and forth. We haven't rehearsed this. We know what we want to present to you, so we'll see how it goes. But the first thing we want to talk to you is the most traditional way to create a foil garment, and that's with screen printing. The process for screen printing, if you could explain that for screen printing foil.
Yeah. Well, there's an extra one if we like. There's, if I may, I'll pass some of these around. Normally with screen printed transfers, what we would do, we'd actually print down an adhesive on a paper. It's usually a very clear. If you want to take a few and just pass them back to give an idea, and then pass them across. What this is an adhesive that's gone down. We tend to put a colour in it so we can see where it is once it's on the shirt. Otherwise, you're working blind. And then we would then put the ink down, the adhesive ink, put it through a tunnel, cure it, dry it off, trim it up, and then dispatch it to wherever it needs to be. Then you'd have a choice of multiple foils, and I think in the US, how many colours do you have to hand?
Somewhere around 15 to 20 different colour choices.
15 to 20 colours. Traditional kind of heat-applied foils, and what you would do is you'd first put the transfer down with the adhesive, and then we'd hit it again with the foil to a chosen colour. Some more techniques we'll show you a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you look across, kind of across the way, there's a lot of screen printing equipment. How many screen printers do we have today? Okay. Anybody ever screen printed foil? No. So with the screen printing foil process, you have a lot of steps. Basically, you have to burn the screen to create the screen print adhesive onto the garment. After that, you cure it through the dryer, and then finally the last step is you still need a heat press. You get it over to the heat press and overlay the foil. But as Martin was explaining, with the screen printed transfer, we do all the work for you. So you don't need the mess, you don't need the space, you don't need the cleanup. All you need to simply do is send your artwork into our Transfer Express division if you're located here in the US, and they give you a transfer that's ready to apply. Now Martin will demo the application of this. This is just a traditional goof-proof plastisol transfer that they offer, and we're going to go ahead and press this screen printed transfer onto the garment. At the temperature we have it at, it'll take about 8 seconds, and then we'll hot peel the backing. The press that Martin will be demoing is the Hotronix Fusion heat press, which is our latest heat press out. It really gives you a lot of versatility with the items you can accommodate, and it also does a great job with foil. It's got a completely digital time, temperature, and pressure. I'm
just going to pre-fuse, just get the moisture out of the garment. It's always best to pre-fuse any garment. You don't want to be printing onto a damp substrate. I'll put the transfer down. I'm going to count 8 seconds in. We wouldn't even be making a screen by now. I know this because I manufacture transfers. I'd just be thinking about making a screen at this point.
Remove the backing paper and you have your base.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So it's just a quick 2-step process. You saw the first layer took somewhere between 4 to 8 seconds, depending on where you have your heat press set at. And then the next step is you just take the heat transfer foil. We sell it by the roll in the assortment of colors, sheet it to the size you want, place it directly over the print, and cover it with a cover sheet.
And for Transfer Express, we go down for
the transfer, 5 to 8 seconds. And then we're going to cold peel it. Now something key about foil is you want to let this cool as long as possible, because if you start to lift it before it really grabs the foil off of that sheet, you're going to get some holes and little areas in your print that you don't want. So if you want a good coverage, let that cool completely down and then remove the backing.
We'll pass this round in a second once it's ready. What I'll do is I'll lift one corner and you'll see what it's like if you lift it too quickly.
Sure.
Yeah?
A lot of people would print their whole run, throw all their shirts to the side, and before you fold them and package them, just peel the foil sheets off. And you just remove the backing, and you can see the foil only sticks to where the print is. If I can hold this up, you see how it just pulled the foil directly out of the sheet, so there's no cutting or weeding or anything like that. You just
if you have another smaller print, you can use all these foiled edges. You always keep the parts. You can always use them, especially for smaller designs. If I pass this around, you can see where I lifted it nice and quickly. You can see where it has laminated, but on there, you can see the finish on there.
So we can pass this around along with the garment for you so you can see how it feels on the garment. So that's two ways to foil already. We talked about screen printing, the direct screen printing process with foil, and also screen printed transfers through Transfer Express. The third way that we're going to talk about is actually using CAD Cut adhesive with foil. So the real goal is just to get a base on the garment that will accept the foil. And at Stahls, we manufacture adhesives and we manufacture CAD Cut. So we can sell you a roll of just adhesive that you can actually cut and weed out. This is actually...
That's metallic too?
Yep, yeah, the adhesive design is it's just a clear base material. You just cut it and weed away the adhesive. And of course there's the cutting process with the vinyl cutter and the weeding, and then we complete the heat application.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same basic process. We're going to heat apply the base adhesive layer down just for a few seconds to get it onto the garment, and then we're really going to seal it when we put the foil layer on top. The adhesive was cut on a vinyl cutter, so we have a product that's called thermo adhesive. You can cut that on a vinyl cutter. Now you can't do extremely fine detail with that material, just the way it cuts and weeds, but for basic designs like the Love design or Cheer or something like that, it's a great product. So just tack it down for a few seconds, and then you're going to hot peel the backing. And then we just have the adhesive base on the garment, and we'll just lay our foil directly over top and press it for the 5 to 8 seconds that the foil takes to adhere. And then we cold peel the foil. So can anybody think of any instances versus the screen printed transfer where this would make sense? What if I just want one piece? Or if I want something personalized? With screen printed transfers, you're still paying for the screen that's being burnt to print the transfers. So that's why these different techniques are important. This is great for personalization or for very low quantities, whereas a screen printed transfer where Transfer Express prints it for you is good kind of for your mid-volume runs. So somewhere 24 pieces and up would make perfect sense. So
I'm just going to let that cool.
Yep, once again we'll let that cool, and then we'll get to the application. I think you guys can retain the multiple processes, so we'll keep rolling as that cools.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing is where we actually laminate the foil to the adhesive and present you with a roll of material that's called CAD Cut Metallic 2 or a CAD Cut foil. In this case, there's no two-step process. You simply take the roll of heat transfer film, you cut it in a mirror image, weed it, and we have a design that's ready to apply. You can see we already have the foil layer and the adhesive on back, and we can press this on. Now when we pass this around after it's pressed, it'll go on for about 10 to 15 seconds. It's a cold peel. When we pass that around along with the CAD Cut adhesive, feel them side by side, see which one you like the feel on better. Because there's some slight differences in the amount of layers in the material when it's on the garment.
Again, in the US though, your CAD materials on offer, there's as many if not more than the foils.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's you know, the basic colors that you see here, and then in foil there's also hologram colors where you get some cool effects in the actual material that are available.
Again, I've pre-fused, always pre-fused, get that moisture out of the garment. Not so much here, but back in England you'd see the steam coming out the side of the out of the t-shirt.
So I'll pass this around. This one's complete. Sure.
On that adhesive, can this be layered? Like, can I lay a color vinyl to put that adhesive? Like, smaller, so that way I don't have a partial foil?
Good question. His question was, with that adhesive, can it be layered? So can he put like a standard heat transfer film down first and then apply the adhesive on top so that when he puts the foil, will it just stick to the adhesive? And the answer is yes, but it really depends on your CAD Cut material that you're using. A lot of CAD Cut materials will actually pick up the foil. like if I apply this on top of our thermofilm, the thermofilm would accept the foil. So it would, depending on whether you want it to happen or not, it would probably ruin the design. But if you get a CAD cut material that won't accept foil with a smooth surface, kind of like screen printers print a, they put a special additive to the ink, so it's like a non-foil receptive. The same thing with CAD cut materials. If you pick the right one, such as Premium Plus, that won't accept the foil, you can do that. So we'll pass these
absolutely
couple shirts around. That one was the one with the CAD cut.
I think you had this one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I already passed that around once.
Yeah.
So we passed the purple one around already?
I think it's
yeah, that's the one with the CAD Cut Adhesive, and this is going to be the one with the metallic too. So I'm going to keep this going in the same way so you can compare the differences. Okay, so anybody keeping track? How many different methods are we up to? 4. We got the screen printed foil, we got the screen printed transfer foil, we got CAD cut adhesive with foil, and now we have a laminated just CAD cut foil roll. Okay, so the last way, and probably the newest and most innovative way, is by leveraging new transfer paper technology to create foil looks. What do I mean by that? Would you like to explain the exact print a little bit and how it works?
I would love to. As a manufacturer of transfers and having to CAD cut for customers, the speed of a laser paper, all I'm doing is putting through an exact print paper through a laser printer. There's a list of machines, devices that this is suitable for, which Josh can help you with after the seminar. That is your adhesive. That's how easy it is. We all know how easy it is to send a file to a desktop laser, a US letter printer. And that is your additional adhesive. So there's no cutting, there's no weeding. So we've gone down from half a day's work making a screen, preparing it and putting it onto production, to CAD cutting it, to just simply sending a file to a machine.
Yeah. One of the major benefits of this, if you think about the other steps in the process for the CAD cut, is we can get a lot more detail here, because you're just simply printing. There's no cutting, there's no weeding, so you can do all types of grunge effects, wings, heraldry designs, things that are popular for foil looks. You can create with this paper. You can source it in 11 by 17 wide.
Yeah. Tonal prints. I mean, Josh, I don't know if that's the video we're going to show, but Josh has done some wonderful work, done some wonderful videos with some tonal images. Now, for screen printing, that's fine, but you've got to get enough adhesive through the screen and onto the paper to get it down and transfer it then onto the garment to get the foil to bond to it. If the particle is too small, the foil just falls away. So it's hard. CAD cutting, anything with tone, we all know no one's going to want to weed that much work. So if you can think it and you can print it, you can foil it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you gave me a reminder, what we'd like to do is show a quick video on the exact print technology. As that's kind of running through, I'm going to go ahead and heat press this design down in person. It takes about 30 seconds. So this is just going to show you the basic video of everything the paper can do, including the foil. You can see that's just a standard Oki printer that we're printing it on. And this isn't only for black images as a foil base. I always print black for a foil base just so I know to keep black toner, but you can see some photo quality or multiple color prints there that we're going to be utilizing.
What machine are you using there? Is it just an Oki?
Yeah, it was just an Oki C610, I believe. There's specific models of color laser printers that we have recommendations for.
We can give you a list of those before you leave. Absolutely.
Okay, you can see we're in the same step live as we are up there in the process, where I'm going to press it down at 325 to 330 degrees for 25 to 30 seconds. So after its video editing skills made us speed that up so we could peel it, but we'll do a close-up here after we do the second press for this photo quality image. You can see any of those non-print areas don't adhere, and that's the real magic of the process, because you don't have that ugly box or from a transfer paper around your design. And they'll do a close-up here. This one's getting ready to beep. And so you basically want to give this about 5 to 10 seconds after you press it till you start to peel the backing. Anybody remember what we're at? Me neither. Sounds good. So you can see where the toner was. I'll pass this around. You can see the little pinkish color from the toner ink, and all that's adhered to my shirt is the actual toner in the print area. Everybody can see that. And so I'll take the foil and I'll bring it right over top. Anybody have an idea or want to take a guess at what this would cost to make?
Just a guess.
Go ahead, take a guess.
50 cents I have from this side of the room.
50 cents? That's pretty aggressive. It costs about 65 cents for an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. If you order in quantity, you can get them down, I think, to 49 cents a sheet. The foil is very inexpensive. It's about 10 cents per square foot. So you are right. It's anywhere, depending on the quantity you order the sheets of paper in, anywhere from 50 cents to $1 per transfer with this process. Now, one thing I will tell you, you'll notice on some of the prints, you get different variables of foil coverage and how well it covers on the prints. With the exact print paper, it's not always 100% clean coverage like it is with the CAD Cut adhesive or the transfer. So you get almost a little distress in the print. That's going to be beneficial to us here in a second when we show you some of these different techniques, but you just want to be aware that that happens. So once again, I'm going to let it cool completely down. Remove the backing. You can almost even see on the foil where some of the areas aren't removing completely because of the way the paper works, but I still think that looks pretty darn good and sellable to a customer. So I'll pass that around.
In the UK and Europe, that look is more desirable than the highly polished finish. The highly polished finish looks like it's sitting on top. With this finish, it looks like it's more into the garment. And it looks as if you had to try to screen it, it'd be quite a complex artwork, but it doesn't need to be. So when you start adding tone work, you can get quite a vintage look to it, even though it's a brand new product. It's quite nice. Has its place. Go.
It's a good question. The question is there a different stretch factor between the foil and the CAD Cut? If you'll notice, the metallic 2, the silver one that went around, is kind of rigid. That's because it has an extra layer there to make it be able to be laminated together and manufactured. So this is much more
of a film, this one.
Much more rigid of a feel, whereas when you get into the exact print paper, as we pass around that sample, you'll see it's a lot softer and more flexible. There was also a question over here. Okay, good question. Once you print onto the paper, is there a time frame that you need to get it heated? If you store it in the proper conditions, you really don't have any deadline to get it from the printed piece over to the garment. As long as it's kept clean and dust and lint free, you'll be just fine.
But you could put it in a drawer and print it the following week.
Yeah, for instance, I printed these probably at a show that happened 6 months ago, and now I'm pressing them on. Okay, good.
No, go.
Okay, so in addition to the different styles. So we showed you 5 different ways to foil. We want to show you some what we believe are innovative foil techniques, stuff that some of the best screen printers in the US and in the world are doing with screen printing that we can also do with heat transfer. To start it off, we'll kind of start with basic. Martin kind of explained how there's a bright foil finish and there's a luster foil finish. So if you look at one of these garments that are going around.
I think it was the purple one.
So you can see how this kind of has a bright foil finish to it. Really, you can change the effect on this foil by simply putting it back under the heat press and doing another application. So if you kind of, we'll take this gentleman's word for it, you see how bright it is right now? And let's go ahead and throw it back on the heat press and give it 5 seconds with a cover sheet.
Should we do half and half? So you can
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We're going to press half and half so we can pass it around and you can see the difference. So we'll give it a good 5 or 10 seconds.
Actually, we'll do the whole item. Don't want
the whole thing?
I want to protect the press.
So you can ask your customer, you can show them the different looks. Do you want a high foil finish or do you want something that's more of a matte or luster finish on the garment? Question? How durable are they? That's a great question. Foil in general is known not to be a product that's going to outlast the garment. That's even the garments you see in retail stores. The foil starts to crack after a certain time. So with this, usually what we recommend is a hang dry application. But other than that, I mean, it's as durable as any foil that you'll get anywhere else. We use a thick micron foil when we manufacture it. So it's as best as you're going to get anywhere with a foil transfer. So 1 dozen to 2 dozen washes, I think, is something you should recommend.
Right now this has been double hit. It's got more of the luster that you would get if you put a glitter particle ink through a screen. So you've got a slightly different finish there. It's just been hit twice.
So does that look different from the first one? Yeah, okay. So those are two different effects. You can do the high foil finish, you could do the luster foil finish. In addition, you can do a distress foil finish. So let's show you how to do that. We're just going to go ahead and press another exact print down to set up our base for our distress. Just going to preheat. And I'll press that down for the 25 to 30 seconds. While that's pressing, we got 30 seconds. Anybody else have a question? Yes. Okay, good question. Do we have that paper made for eco-solvent printers? This paper is very specific to printers that use toner, so it'll only work with a laser printer. It won't work on any inkjet devices at all, whether it's aqueous or solvent-based. Not really. You can't use the foil with the VersaCam unless you just use the VersaCam as a cutter, you know, to cut the adhesive product.
Give us time.
Now, what I will say is that we have a foil product that's transparent. I don't have it here today, but it's a pretty cool effect. So you can actually do like a digital print on this paper, on the laser paper, like that photo of Jim Morrison, and then you can put the transparent over top of it, and you get like a cool foil effect, but you still can see the photo through the transparent foil. It's like an oil spill sort of pattern. So I press the base here. Now, this distress thing is pretty complicated. It's a big secret, so I don't want you to let it out. Here's how you do it.
Your secret's out.
You got to shake it to the left, shake it to the right, shake it down low. That's it. You just crumble up the foil. Come on, you guys can smile. It's not that tough. You can put it on top of the print. And then all these cracks and creases in the material are basically going to create void areas in the print when I press it. So I give it the same 5 to 8 seconds, and it's going to give me a distress look. Now, of course, if I did a color combo where it was like a black toner on top of a red shirt, I could create a two-tone effect with gold and black on that red shirt. So, you remember this? Shake it to the left. All right, more smiles. You guys are getting with it. All right, so we got to let this cool down. One helpful tip somebody gave me is they keep a cookie sheet by their heat press, and they actually just hold the cold cookie sheet up against the print and cool it right on the heat press quicker. Thought that was pretty cool.
Saves time.
So once it's cooled down, I peel this away, and you can see some of the distress lines through the print. You see some of the black distress lines through the print. Okay. Now this is a single color distress look. If I want to add a two-tone distress look, all I need to do is pick a second color of foil.
For a square foot, how much is that?
10 cents. How much are you going to sell a two-tone distress look for? You're going to upcharge that baby by at least $5. And you're going to have 10 more cents in cost and a few more minutes at the heat press.
The great thing with foil as well is that I said earlier you can keep the bits, but if you then take another adhesive and go down and then try and hit it again with this piece, you get an offset print. So you could make bespoke prints. Instead of throwing it in the trash, you just keep making variable versions, and they're all different. So and if they're two color, they're more expensive.
So usually I like to kind of fold it over so the foil doesn't lift, and set it to the side or cool it down. Almost there.
The wow factor will be worth the wait.
Or you can hold it up to a window or a cool table. If you watch any of the videos, you always see me holding something up to the wall or something to cool it down. All right, if you want to go ahead and peel that off for me. Pretty cool, huh? So I'll pass that around so you can get a close look. So if you want more of the purple color in, you just crumble up the gold color a little more so there's more open spaces, because it basically just fills all the open spaces that were created by the gold layer.
And if you want a different result, if you take the foil and just rub it on a wall, brick wall, or on the ground, you get circular marks, dents, and then hit it again. You don't have to just have the crease stress look, you can vary it. Yeah. You just put them in the bottom of a drawer and let them crease in their own way, and you get all kinds of results. Very nicely bespoke as well.
Something else that a lot of screen printers will do is they'll screen print a foil gel down onto the garment, and then they'll actually take foil and dab it over top of the design. So if you use the CAD Cut adhesive, you can actually recreate that effect. So I'm just going to preheat this down, and I'll take my CAD Cut adhesive. There's a little piece sticking on here. I want to make sure I don't press that down.
That's my mistake. I cut that away.
That's good. I'm just going to dab this on for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to take one of my scrap pieces from earlier, and I just take the back side of it.
You got some gold there too?
Dab it over. If I want, I can hover the heat press over it to like re-wet the adhesive without locking it down, because basically when the adhesive's wet, that's when it's grabbing the foil material. So basically you can mix and match colors, add as many colors to it as you want, but you create a clear effect with just some little bits of foil in the design.
And that's the only waste. No screens.
Questions, comments before we show you the last technique? Okay, good. The last one is one that you're really going to want to pay close attention on. This is creating a predictable pattern within the foil design. So literally nobody is doing this right now, but we could do a heart pattern, we could do a shamrock pattern for St. Patrick's Day, we could do a Christmas wrapping paper pattern, zebra, whatever. You come up with a pattern. It could be a team logo if it's a, a simple single color clip art like design. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat press the pattern, whatever I print, the full bleed pattern, onto a scrap t-shirt. So we're going to call this our scrap t-shirt. And I just press it down. I should ask, does everybody have a heat press? A lot of people have a heat press. Raise your hand. Yeah. Good. You'll have one now, right? Thank you. Appreciate the order. This is theirs. I'm actually borrowing it for this demonstration.
I'm as excited as you because I've not seen this particular one. I've only seen this on one of Josh's movies, on his YouTube videos, training videos that are online. If you haven't seen them, check them out because this one's on there. So if you forget what you've seen today, get a couple of cents of foil, go back and then try this.
So I'm going to put the print down on the shirt, and then basically I'm going to create a template out of my foil layer. So I'll just pick silver. Now you remember how this works, that I'm going to create pretty much a foil piece that has a heart pattern in it, and you'll see how that's going to help us here in a second. Okay, I'm going to lay this one to the side to cool. Now I'm actually going to put my intended print, which once again is this love design, on the shirt that I want to use.
If this was a desired design though, you could still be selling this piece. It doesn't have to be a test shirt, does it?
Right, right.
You just got bespoke shirts, lots of different ones, rather than everything being identical.
While this is pressing down, let me tell you about some of the show specials we have going on. So we have the Hotronix Fusion heat press that you see here. It comes with free shipping and a free set of interchangeable platens. All you need to do is find one of the folks, if you look around you, with their hands up, and they can write their order for you after the presentation. Also, we have the heat transfer foil rolls, which are on a 10% discount here at the show. The silver and gold are like $25 a roll, minus 10%. The colors are, I think, 30 or 35 a roll, but we can sell you all those at 10% off with free shipping. In addition, the transfer paper is 10% off with free shipping. So I'm going to give that 5 to 7 seconds once again. I always start a little slow to make sure I got the timing right and the toner sticking to the shirt and not to my paper. So this is my intended design. So let me take my foil template now.
Do you want to peel it?
Sure.
You can still sell that shirt, sure? Couldn't you?
So now I take my foil template. I register it directly over top of my design. Helps if you have a well-lit area, not a convention hall. And then I'm going to press it down. Just give it the 5 to 7 seconds. Cool it down. Hold it on this cold table.
You there?
Once again, I'm going to peel it, and you see how that has those hearts somewhat open. And so now when I take my second color and line it up, pick any color, doesn't really matter. So you can see it takes a little more time per piece, but you're going to charge a premium for this type of look.
And it doesn't need to be a t-shirt either, does it?
Right.
It could be a high-end item. Fashion houses in Europe will actually use this on the leg of a lady's dress pant, we call them trousers. Yeah, for a suit, even small decoration on suit jackets, nicely, tastefully done. For no cost. Hardly any cost, considering the high level of the cost of the garment they've produced.
So you can see how you get the heart pattern throughout. So we'll pass that around.
And with the foil, you can keep going and going until there's no foil left. As long as you've got adhesive on your exact print or on your transfer. You never throw this. Not like a release paper where you might throw that straight into the trash. You just keep on using this if you're putting distressed and vintage images down.
Exactly. So at Stahls, we have the foil, we have the transfer paper, we have the adhesive products. Of course, we manufacture the CAD cut films as well if you just want a cuttable foil roll. All that available to you.